What's up, Wadao? Welcome to Anything Goes podcast by CSA. We're once again in our ears. I am the one and only, never failing, Lee. This is Lee Wadao.
Vipi. Ukiniita Marlin, nitaitika. I am an SRHR advocate na pia mimi ni champion wa mental health pale mtaani. Kwa my youth man. Yeah.
Sawa Marlin.
Hello guys, my name is Miri, but watu wanapenda kuniita She. I'm a youth and governance advocate, but SRHR iko hapa kwa roho because it really affects us. Yes.
And my name is Jen Nyanjom. Very, very passionate about SRHR issues and an advocacy officer at CSA.
Wadao. She is the one. She. Let's pod. Other than how men see women and women see men, because that is a very controversial, emotive conversation to have, maybe at a later date. How are you and other people bringing out the better in the world? So how is the world starting with you currently?
My world, the world is starting with me by unlearning, learning and relearning. Because I've come to identify the things that were told to me when I was young that really affected how I related with women.
Mm-hmm.
I was told women are their greatest enemies, and this affected how I related with women up to about second year, third year in campus. That's when I was like, okay, I need to unlearn this. And that was after attending gender classes and realizing, manze, I've been... I was put in a certain cocoon to think women are the greatest enemies. And I learned that pole. And honestly, saizi, I'm reaping the benefits of women who have believed in me, women who clap for me. And yet, if I think I didn't go through that gender class, ningekuwa naona a dame ama a lady and niko like, already my antennas go high for them doing me harm kushinda good. You get?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
For me, I will say, when I think about the world starts with me, for me, it's all about, okay, of course, I expect support from my fellow women, even when growing up. But what am I also giving out there? How am I also helping young women, young girls, my fellow women? How am I helping them in whichever way possible? There are several issues being encountered out here in our society currently. Several issues to do with safe abortion, even just the simplest access to contraceptives. So how am I as a person helping other women, either in terms of maybe sharing information with them so that they're more aware, they're also able to make wise decisions and choices. So that's how I look at it. And not even just women, because I'm a woman, but also looking at men, because it applies to both. It applies to both. How am I also helping the male child? Or am I just closed in my own cocoon as a woman?
Hey, me yangu sijui kama ita sound selfish or something. I believe that before I can look at any other person, I need to look at myself. Before I can go and try to change different aspects in the community, I need to change different aspects about myself. Because honestly, you can't pour from an empty cup, right?
So that.
Kuna vitu mob zo happen huku nje. Unapata hata before ufikie huyo mwanamke, wewe mwenyewe umejiangalia kama mwanamke, unaona kuna ile udhaifu ndani yako, upungufu ndani yako. So I start first by working on myself. Nione niko wapi saizi. I think there's a conversation we were having about self-esteem and all that. And at some point we've all struggled. Si ndio? So kuna wakati mwingine hata ukitaka kwenda kuongelesha huyo mtoto about mwili yake, we mwenyewe umeangalia mwili yako na umeaccept venye wewe uko. Unaona vitu kama hizo. Wakati unataka kwenda pale disseminate your information ya CSA and all that, it's something that you're doing passionately, yeah? But is your mental space okay for you to deliver and actually go back home and feel like enyewe kenye nimefanya leo, nimefanya kitu ya maana? So first I start with me. And if I feel like I need to take a step back, I'll take it. I'll take that break. I'll look at myself again and try to see where the loopholes are, so that nikirudi pale chini, narudi kama niko mzima 100%. So hizi vitu zingine zote zita flow.
And I mean, I get where Marlene is coming from, because also the question that is coming in mind is, where is it coming from? Where is what you're doing coming from? Because in as much as, and she has also mentioned it, we're in the SRHR space na tunajaribu kuinform more young people and easy vitu za sexual and reproductive health. It is definitely coming from somewhere. Yeah. Because for instance, Mimi, where I'm coming from, it's a hood where if a girl is not pregnant and is a mom, then a jamaa is either a thug or dead.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see anything beyond that. And when someone comes by and tells you there's a different world than whatever you're existing in now, or whatever you're seeing now, or even whatever you're living, it cannot even image or even form an image in your mind. So the question is always, where is it coming from? So for instance, mse kama mimi, and I guess yeah, shoot, hapo unaweza sema where maybe the world literally starts ni literally seeing the people who you thought you would be somewhere with, and you have literally taken the journey by yourself. Because this journey somehow, somewhere, because at the end of the day, Pia, the journeys are not the same, but somewhere, somehow, at least we were supposed to be with you along this journey. But neither ulipigwa mob, ukaenda, or somehow, somewhere, ulijipata komadre, drugs, na ukapotea hivyo. Because there's, kitambo I used to be a rapper.
Hey. Interesting.
Proper bana. Proper bana. And the guy who literally introduced me to rap, because I used to sing. But sasa nikiwa tizi, my voice broke. Like ili break nikiimba. Na nilikuwa high notes. So ikaanguka hapo tu, and it never recovered. But I still had the love for music and blah blah blah. So I started writing lines, but kidogo zilikuwa zinatoka ka poems. But mimi sikuwa nda kuwa poets, kina teardrops and the like, however no shade. So nikajaribu sasa kuingia into rap. Kwa na acha tu nisimtaje, but there was this jamaa kuwa mkali sana bana. At the time kwa ametoa like bado tuko high school, but yeah, ametoa ngoma, kona videos, and he's performing in very big stages. So yeye ndio akaanza kunionyesha, hii ndio 4 bars, hii ndio 8 bars, hii ndio 16 bars. This is how you create a hook. This is what you call a flow. This is how you switch flows between beats. You know, like all this. Na tukiendelea mahali, tumefika mahali, mi nimeingia music, we are curtain raising for akina Octopizos, enye alikuwa anavaa ma jeans baggy zimefika huko chini, na anatambua jamaa. But sahi is nowhere to be seen. Why? Drugs. Like they got a huge hand on him to a point hakuweza kutoka. Now to the ladies that when tulikuwa nao shule, mwingine by the time namaliza form 4, she had three kids. By the time namaliza form 4, mwingine tu naye alinishangaza, because nilikuwa najua naye anafika hadi mwisho. By the time tu amemaliza hivi pap, And it's not like having children is bad. No, I'm not saying that. It's, had you planned for it? Is this how you had envisioned your life? If the answer is no, then it becomes a bad thing. Now, if you see this and it's affecting, well, maybe let's say like a class of 30 or 45, half of that class wote ni wazazi, na wengi wao ukishakuwa mzazi, especially from that place, imeishia hapo, auendi mbali. Alafu ukuja kwa boys class, half of that class mtu tu, so alafu now marriages vile zina happen, si huyu ataenda up to now because bado ni from the same locality. So where is that going? Alafu wewe mwenye unakaa ni like you broke out, you sort of want to change that narrative, sort of want to show, they actually were telling the truth. There is a beautiful, bigger and non-explored world beyond whatever we see here. And so like I get where it has to come from somewhere. There has to be a push.
Yeah.
And when we say changing the world, it literally seems like a very big
Lee, I think umesema kitu na ikanigusa. And I'd say kuna vitu zingine, in as much as we'd want to, not even we'd want, we are advocating for, seme kama hizo teenage pregnancies reduce and all that, kuna zile zenye bado zina happen, sindio? And then you come in and you're like, so what can I do? Huyu dem ndio huyo, labda alikuwa 16 akapata ball, hakukuwa na uwezo wa kuendelea shule, sindio? So how can you use that kujaribu kuendeleza kitu, agenda yenye unapasa across, sindio? Because most of the time utapata saa udem akisha kuwa mzazi ni kama community inamtenga hapo kando. But there's a change unataka kudrive.
Weka nyumbani ule umeamua.
Exactly. Mtoto wa mtoto and all that. So unaona kama mimi personally, na identify, sema ni she ni wewe, sindio? Sawa uliza. So ni nini tunaweza fanya mimi na wewe tujaribu kureduce. Sasa unaona nikikubring on board kama mentor, kama sasa kwa wale wasichana wengine wadogo hawajapata ball, unasema enyewe mimi nilikuwa 16 nilipata ball na hivi ndo life yangu ilifanya nini, ili roll out. So kenye naweza kuambia ni enyewe sex iko haitawaisha, but hiyo time itafanya nini, itafika.
So umesema very important point ya how unaweza pata like people from informal settlements, like because the most affected, coming together and having innovative ways of stopping it. Kuna dem fulani anaitwa Susan from akona organization yake inaitangwa Inspire. This lady, me personally, I know her at a personal level, but her story, manze, it keeps you thinking, you know what? It's not the end. Pata mtori ukuwa teen, so she got a baby akiwa teen. It's not the end. Na saizi like she advocates for to end and reduce teenage pregnancies. Na bado to the teen moms, now she has empowerment sessions with them so that wasifeel ni mwisho. Because kuna ile tu ingine na happeningi ni mistake, whatever, it happened. But you see, majority of the, as you said, society kuna time inafikanga ni kama iko like wewe umepata mtoto, like you are done.
Wewe songa tu aki.
Yeah.
And maybe also just to reflect on like the young girls who get pregnant, who when they're still young, of course, when they're teenagers and all that. But even for us here, like when did we first get information on sexual reproductive health and rights? Was it from family members? Was it from a peer group? Was it from social media? Where was it from? Because that's also something very important to reflect upon, because also times are changing. Things are becoming more digitalized. Where do you expect the young girls and the young boys to get information, reliable and correct information on such issues? Because that's also one way to also address some of these challenges that the young people face.
Well, I guess perspectives, because watu wengi and especially wale wase wenye wako kwa ghetto, the first interaction of sexual reproductive health, knowledge, hata say information, knowledge inakuanga ni neighbors ama home,
Kweli, yeah.
because nyumba ni either ya mabati ama tu kidogo ventilation kidogo ina kuja kwenu, so inamaanisha pia sound, ama uko hapo tu kwa single room na ndio kitchen, bedroom, ndio hizo vitu zote. So hiyo inaanga the first interaction, sexual reproductive health knowledge, but ni ati tu ujui hiyo ni sexual reproductive health knowledge. So nasema ni perspectives, because hapo ndio utasikia kwa wale wanataka kujaribu wataenda wajaribu, wakuuliza watauliza, na most of the times wakuuliza uchapo, vibare zingine hazina mwisho. But for me, where I got actual correct factual information was in school. Na it was high school. School mwalimu, our primary school teacher, madam, ndio madam alikuwa
Ameweza.
Madam alikuwa
In terms of information.
With sharing information.
Yeah.
It's what we call age appropriate comprehensive sexuality education now. But at the time it was, what do you know, and from what you know you get to know what you need to know. So and almost the time class 7 class 8 where you're getting into your first quote unquote relationship na takataka kama hizo. So nakumbuka ndo kuna time hii simu ndo ilikuwa imekam kwa hao for the first time, because hatukuwa naruhusiwa kuwa na simu. Pia TV kwetu ilikuwa limited sana. Time was mostly limited to books and books. Hata nje pia ilikuwa imeruhusiwa sana. So time simu ilikam home, si niko na simu for the first time, na kulikuwa na line za Airtel. Hiyo time line za Airtel hazikuwa na mambo mingi, ukisha register ni hivyo. So once ilikuwa registered alafu itumiki sana, sio ndo unatumia. So kwa no dem daro alikuwa naitwa
Not really.
no, like ndio it makes sense. Anyway, so ikafika mahali tukaanza kubanta stories jioni though, but kumbe alikuwa anatumia simu ya madhe.
Mlikuwa mnaongea kwa simu?
Kwa simu jioni. Alafu mimi sijai kuwa mtu text. Anybody who knows me knows that sijai kuwa mtu text, so ilikuwa calls. Alafu hiyo time bado Airtel ilikuwa inakupatia almost 100 minutes for free. So unaweza imagine umetoka tu shule, alafu sasa mnaenda tu banta. Madhe akaenda akaambia class teacher wetu, kuna kijana hii class wanaongea na nani sana. Now which pia madhe alikuwa concerned, because pia the lady was now getting into it proper. And I was also getting into it, you know. But sasa class teacher wetu akakuja akatuita pamoja, mimi na Nodem, katuuliza now naona mapenzi yenu imenoga hapo tu kwa kichwa, like at least someone sees. Akatuambia haina shida, but sasa watu wanapendana wao wana.
But you are still very young for that.
No, kidogo watu wanapendana wao wana. Nyisi mnapendana, si ndio? Sasa kenye mnafaa kufanya ni muoane. Na since nyote ni wakadho, kuna kuanga na mass weddings. Hapo October, November kuna kuanga na mass weddings kadho. So tufanye hivi, inaweza ongea na church wamnunulie gown, lakini wewe itabidi utafute pesa ujinunulie suti. Bwana harusi anunulie yangu suti, alafu pia ununue pete, na si ndogo. nikaanza kuona hii mambo bana inaanza kuwa ngumu. Alafu tena ujue watu wameona wakaangi kwa wazazi,
wanakaa kwa nyumba zao,
wanakaa kwa nyumba yako. Na saa hii nyumba saa hii ni expensive. Utataka single room ama utataka 1 bedroom, utaka nyumba iko na choo, ndio hiyo saa hii ni kitu 10,000. So nyi haina shida, mimi nitapanga hizi vitu zote. Alafu wewe tu niambie ile siku uko ready kunini. Akaona tumeanza kufikiria twice na bado mnataka kuendelea, na nikamwambia mko sure? Si mnapendana? Kusema sasa mnaona hivi ndio mnafaa mkae mkijua kuanzia leo mpaka mahali mtafika and you're ready. If you're not ready kugharamia hizi vitu zote, na unajua tuna harusi kwanza inafaa unajilipia nyinyi wote, si unakuja kulipiwa na kanisa. Kama unataka ikue mzuri, ikue special, na si ati tunasema wenye wanalipiwa ni una wale they want it in a specific way. So if we were those people who want it in a specific way, si ndio? That it means lazima ugharamikia. If you're not in a position kugharamikia, wachana nayo. Because sasa now you're also introducing kids na blah blah blah. Of course hatukuambiwa how kids are brought about, but tuliambiwa na itafika mahali watoto wakuje, mtawapeleka shule. So yani in short, kutoka tu na hiyo conversation, it literally opened let me say our minds, but I really want to say mine. Like vitu nilianza kupiga hesabu kwanza hiyo point. Like hata nilikuwa najiambia by form 4 hata bado hapa.
Bado.
Yeah, because you knew already like the repercussions.
And they were heavy.
Pia I feel hata mwalimu wako alikuwa a bit kidogo lenient. Mimi my teacher, I think quote unquote ilikuja kama threats. Alikuwa anasema ushaenda supermarket. Kila mtu ako like, hey, supermarket kuna kongana jam. Ushaona jam? Everyone is like, hiyo jam hapo ni nini inafanyanga we buy? Kwa sababu iko venye iko packaged and all that, maybe the flavor nini. So imagine umeenda super, hiyo jam iko open, and then kila mtu alikuwa anapita hapo, alikuwa na dip. So would you still want to buy that same jam? Amedip, ameingiza, ameonja nini, hadi kuna flies and all that. And everyone hawezi buy kitu kama hiyo. So wewe msichana ni the same thing.
But I think she could have delivered that message.
Hata alikuwa he.
It was a he.
He
could have done it in a better way. Yes, we get one saying that.
It's because that's a perspective of him.
Yeah, but we get why he's saying that. And also if you look at the Kenyan context, but he could have delivered the message in a much better way. And I believe also message delivery with regards to health issues, especially sexual health issues, matters a lot.
True.
And it also informs lots of actions amongst the youth and even adolescents. Because for you, maybe you are scared, you're like, okay, but what if for maybe someone else, like,
iko tu sawa.
I want to try it. No.
Where kwanza yako ilitoka?
But then for me, I don't think if it came from my parents, because my parents, of course, back then, we never talked openly about sexual reproductive issues. But now with my mom, I do.
But of course.
So it's a different situation. But I think I learned more about it probably in high school, goes through such talks, having talks with young women being called to school to teach you about your reproductive health. And of course, most of it was from the reproductive health angle. And of course, issues to do with menstrual health and hygiene. And of course, through that, people will ask questions. And of course, you're also curious as an individual. Why is she talking about this? Why are we told not to be too close to boys? You want to get to know more. But now things are different. We have the digital space.
Yeah.
A lot is happening.
Hey. Okay, let me first speak about my first experience. Mine was in school, and we were taught more of your body. Yes, and then also nobody should touch my boobs.
The famous song.
Yes, the famous song. And then our teacher made it interesting. Like, nobody should see them, nobody should touch them. Actually, to date, I remember that song. And then also the perspective of breaking it down, the repercussion of even having someone seeing your private parts, ama someone touching them, ama, having sex.
Yeah.
But where I came to learn about contraceptives was in high school. CRE kuna part ilikuanga na story na contraceptives. Yes. And then we had the first teacher mtupitisha tu ako like apana haifai, you get.
Yeah.
Like ako like these are not even things that are supposed. And then tukakuja mwalimu alikuwa teaching practice. And then sasa remedials and whatever. Now that's who took a whole lesson kutuelezea about contraceptives. And honestly,
Was it a he or she? Just curious.
it was a he actually.
Interesting, because we also had another he experience. That's interesting.
And I loved it because from there, it was from a point of knowledge. Because with what I know now and what he told us, he was accurate actually. And I'm glad I met him.
And if I
Mad props to teachers. Yeah, I get. But it's more of mad props to teachers and mad props to schools. And others, and well, shots fired to MOE in a way. And that's why Sasa, when MOE says, in as much as I want to get where they're coming from, that people should not go into schools now. So I was interacting with teachers like a week or some couple of weeks ago, and they were saying right now even motivational speakers are not invited to schools. Right now, if you're not a teacher, then don't go to school to speak with students or with pupils.
Yeah.
Iko hapo. Now, then looking at our experiences, where we got this information was in school.
yeah.
And kwanza ikifika high school, it's where now people start coming. Because for instance, now in my case, while in high school, there was this club. Now the one starts with me. It was in our school. And that's where we literally got information. And it helped. Because kulikuwa bado na hii clause ya inasema when you're not ready to have sex, don't have sex. And alafu kulikuwa bado na part inasema for boys, this is what ladies will tell you for you to have sex with them. Ni kama manipulation hivi of some sorts, ama guilt tripping. And also for the ladies, they would be told this is how guys tell you for you to have sex with them.
That's interesting. And I also think, of course, it varies also. Kenya is a big country. Also looking at the various areas, context is different. Because I believe in some schools, in Kenya we have international schools, we have the public primary schools. I believe whatever information people get from whichever institution is also different. It varies. Context. That people get more elaborate information. That people who don't even get any information at all. Look at a young girl or a young boy in a very rural setting where the teacher does not even have enough information on SRHR. Not even the teacher, even the parent does not even have enough information. Like a woman who was married off early, she started having kids. The kids are now in school. She's not even well equipped with information that she can share with her fellow children. And they're deep in the rural area. Now, how does her kids also get adequate and correct information with regards to SRHR so that they also do not fall into the same situation?
Well, good thing that now also phones are really getting into places, because in as much as the parent won't have information, the parent has an Android phone. At this point, well, not many, because there's the high tech, low tech, and the no tech at all. By the high tech meaning you're very conversant with technology, know the upcoming latest technology trends. The low tech, at least you have interacted with some form of technology and you know your way around it. And then the no tech, the ones who don't have any knowledge of technology in any way. But so right now we are at the low tech. If you have not if you're not fully conversant with technology, at least you have interacted with it in some form or in some way, either through TV, technology, phones, and blah blah blah. So right now, information is coming, or rather, people are getting information through the digital spaces, despite your age, whether young, whether old. But the question is how safe
Yeah, clearly.
Accurate
is the information?
that.
Because digital spaces are good, but they're also harmful. Because ni juzi tu bana mlikuwa mnaniambia kuna mtu video zilichapishwa kwenye mitandaoni properly akichezesha mawegedes. So as in, if digital spaces are also not, na siyo bado ni some form of sexual reproductive health information.
It is, but also you talked about age appropriate.
Yeah.
Even as we look at the digital space and all that is happening around in that particular space, and also as we talk about age appropriate, sharing age appropriate information on comprehensive sexuality education and also SRHR issues. Now, how do we, as people who are aware, and even as we reach out to our fellow peers and the fellow young boys and girls, how do we ensure that even as they access the various digital platforms, that they're able to get reliable information that will also help them make wise decisions regarding their sexual and reproductive health? Because there's only so much that the government can do.
Yeah.
But now, what can we do? As the world starts with us, what role can we play meaningfully to ensure that these digital spaces are used in the correct way, and even moving away from the digital space, that as we interact with our fellow peers, the young people, young girls and young boys, that they get the accurate information?
For me, I think yes, it's important to how the information is packaged and it's correct. But then again, come to think of it, of what the harm, as much as the digital space is, we are all heading there, and somehow we are there.
Yeah.
But how it's misused, like pornography sharing.
Yeah.
You see, you can get information from Twitter, because see, we post our information from Twitter, but Twitter also doesn't prohibit ama haijakazia. Sorry,
don't get started on Twitter.
I'm just talking about Twitter. You see, with Telegram already people wanajua.
Yeah.
But with Twitter, this is a space I expected when first I joined it.
Umeona crime scene?
This is clean.
Okay, umeona hiyo crime scene? Umeenda hiyo side ya Twitter?
Okay, I'm a young person, and you know what, in one or another you can stumble. So I was thinking, kitambo, how I used to tell people, Twitter is a very serious professional.
Yeah.
And then I got to learn and go like, what if, you see, it's a space already me thought it's a safe space.
Yeah.
What if I could neza pay kazi yangu, you know, mtu huyu unamwambia this is information, vitu kama hii, and then I scroll hivi,
apate ile pop-up
with other,
and you know, sometimes you don't have to be following them. I don't know, somehow you wanakupata kwa timeline yako.
Yeah, it's from maybe the content you have interacted with, or someone in your followers ama watu wako, comrades wako, someone pia na interact nayo. So algorithm inasema if they're interested in this, then you might also be interested in this. So inakuja kama pop-up, alafu lakini wewe unaonekana umeona mambo. But then how can we control information in the digital spaces to make sure that those who are looking for accurate, age-appropriate and correct, factual, reproductive health information, that they get it?
Hey, can you really control though? Okay, that is just a kitu nafikiria kwa akili yangu.
Mimi najiuliza.
Kwa sababu ndio mimi nitakuja nikuongeleshe, but sitakuwa able really kusensa ni information gani utaenda pale kupata. Ni the same way tu mtu anakuambia kuna kwanga na nyoka kwa hii njia. Si ndio? Sasa ni uamuzi wako ni ukifuata hiyo njia.
Bokea anauliza nyoka gani? Bokea anauliza nyoka gani?
Nyoka ni nyoka na shimo ni shimo.
I think maybe saying controlling it, maybe we might not control, but maybe there are, I would say, approaches that we could use to tackle such an issue. Like when we look at the young people in relation to information and all that around SRHR, it's a multi-sectoral approach thing. We need the parents.
Yeah, exactly.
We need the teachers. We need, of course, fellow peers. In some cases, even religious leaders, because of their influence. We need people from a diverse group to be able to tackle this. When you look at the statistics, we also KDHS results.
Yeah,
They're not good results. Of course, there's an improvement in various sectors, but there's still so much that needs to be done. If you celebrate the improvement and forget about the more work that we need to do, we might go back to where we were before. So just sitting down.
And it might be very soon, because and if you're a parent and you happen to stumble on this, please be aware of, or rather, note that the current rates of HIV prevalence, sexual transmitted infections and diseases are high among young people. And who are young people? We have adolescents and we also have young people. Adolescents is anybody from age 13 to 19. Young people speak of 20 to 24. So kama uko na mtoto ako age between 13 to 24.
So namaanisha mimi niko about 24.
You are a youth.
Now you are a youth.
Oh, yeah.
When you
Wenye wanajitanga young person.
so kama uko na coming from Jane. Hey, where is that coming from?
I know I'm still young.
Oh
You can
yes.
say I'm young.
Hata pia mimi. Sawa.
Yes, you are young, Jen. You are young. But anyway, kama uko na mtoi between 13 to 24, your child might have been infected either HIV right now ama amesuffer consequences za STIs. Napo tunaongelea kina syphilis, akina gonorrhea. Jusai pia kuna gonorrhea za mdomo. The oral ones, because pia young people are doing things out here. So, I mean, make sure your child is well informed. Ndio nini?
No, you say young people are doing things. So she and I are just receiving.
Wow. Nyinyi mmetoka kwa age bracket.
No, we are still there. Yeah.
So you're still doing things.
No, we are young people.
But anyway, one way I was also trying to think of how we can control the information that's online. It's also setting up spaces online that young people can go and get information. So is it organizational websites? So for the accredited organizations such as CSA, where they have been, or rather we have been implementing long enough on issues.
Elaborate on CSA.
Center for the Study of Adolescents. Yes, we have been implementing on issues of adolescents and young people for a very long time now. Yeah, close to 35 years, and we will also be celebrating, our 35 years very soon. So such organizations and many more, they have curated information and they have collected information that can be of help to the adolescents and young people. And also world organizations like UNFPA. Because right now, UNFPA has a website. I will try and look for the name of the website. But also DSW has a website, lifeyangu.com, where it's they have created this space where young people, regardless of your age, you can go there, find information on whatever sexual reproductive health issue that you have, and also talk to someone, because wako na hiyo base ya sijui ni mentors ama ni nani, where ukiona ujapata information yenye ulikuwa unadai, you can chat mbio and ask questions. Alafu people like Love Matters, in as much as hapo online inakuanga crime scene saa zingine, but I view it as an approach to getting people to talk and getting people to see what's actually happening, because unaweza kuja hapo with your religious mind, cultural mind, you're there bashing people, but actually what that platform is trying to show you or tell you rather is, imagine this is what is happening, imagine this is what people are thinking, and imagine people are thinking this way at this time, in as much as God has been preached over 1,000 million years, in as much as culture has been there for us, but people are doing these things, people are speaking this way. And so if you're also in such a situation, how best can you be of help? And Laugh Wapo, through Love Matters platform, I know, they can either link you to service providers, ama you ask a question and they can highlight you. So I mean, yes, we can control the digital spaces, but the control is not as would want it to be, because bad information travels fast. Like your platform ya inakurumia man, because kama umeona hizo vitu za ujaona hizo vitu Jen Twitter.
People use various digital platforms differently. And now that you've said, maybe nitaenda nichungulie.
Ukishachungulia ni hivyo zitakuwa tu zinakaa.
Me, the unfortunate business, ilinipata, I didn't go looking for it.
Okay.
Alafu pia something with sharing information is also the fear of introducing something new or something foreign to the wrong person, because you might be here busy trying to give impactful information, sexual reproductive health information, lakini kumbe una empower someone wrongly. Kuna jamaa cab driver alikuwa ananipigia story, hizi central communities and most of the communities in Kenya, culturally, after class 8, the boys go for circumcision, the rite of passage. But sasa, once you have gone through the act, munaekangwa mahali, and then munaanza kuongeleshwa how to be a man, this is what being a man means, na blah blah blah. So hawa walikuwa na pasta fulani, so pasta kakuja akaanza kuongelea masturbation. But kwa hii group kuna watu bana wajui punyeto ni nini bana, kuna watu wajui masturbation ni nini, na kuna watu hata wajui vile inafanywa. So in his quest of quenching the thirst of knowledge and impacting young men, or rather young boys as they transition into being young men, akaambia wase bana masturbation ni nini, and akago even to the extent of, and this is how some of you even masturbate, mnachukua sijui nini. So kuna huyu jamaa mwenye alikuwa kwa hii group home siku moja after it's long gone, session imeisha, amerudi home. So akiwa bafu akakumbuka method Pasi alikuwa amesema.
So he actually
yes, ndio bana alipiga trisex. Zizi like it.
Now the young boy.
Si Pasi alikuwa anapiga story vile these things happen, how people do these things, and it was very elaborate. So few months after that, jamaa amekaa kwa hao, alikuwa shower. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa story, alikuwa kwa shower. Akipiga shower akakumbuka story ya Pasi. Si akakumbuka vile Pasi alikuwa amepeana example ya shower. Na menengai wapi ndani sha hadi wa leo guy has 3 kids, ajai toka.
Wow.
And it all came from, it was
coming
to be
it is coming from a good place.
prevent it, but now it even cost.
It was coming from a good place.
What do you mean by the guy has 3 kids?
As in, right now he's 30, 40 something.
Okay, but he's still
with 3 kids, and he's still, doing it. Not it's like he is addicted, and he has been unable to come out of it. So if we imagine from mahali ulikuwa na transition into being a young man to a point where now you are a full-grown man, full-grown adult with children, with a family, and that's something that you struggle with to date.
And that's why we need to make sure, of course, now as we even say, it starts with us. What information are we sharing?
Correct.
And how is this information going to help these young people make wise decisions? Because also it's not in our place to make decisions for them, but ensuring that whatever we share, how is it impacting their lives? Because of course we want to see a society whereby young people are able to go to school, they're able to further their career, they're able to do great stuff with their life. So whatever we are sharing.
Well, and I mean, I don't know if it's an African child, issue, because pia kusema ukweli mtoto wa Kiafrika anapitia mambo mingi. Because depending on which country you're in, there's poverty, and poverty has a lot of consequences that come with it, and a lot of burden. Because with poverty means you lack access to most of the crucial amenities you should be able to access, like healthcare, education, ingine ni gani? Shelter, food. So, I mean, we're here busy trying to look at the health parts, and whereby most is informed by decisions, ama is impacted by decisions. But mtoi bana wa Kiafrika maybe ako mali Mukuru, na kwanza hii time walikuwa wamebomolewa manyumba. You can even imagine. Yes, ai bana hata reproductive health, hiyo hata si priority. Na because poverty ndiye anajaribu kudeal naye, na hata anajaribu kuangalia kesho atakula wapi, na maybe justima iko digital space ndio mali anaweza escape to.
Now, as you mentioned that with the Day of the African Child approaching, and their theme, of course, is around digital, the digital space for children. Now, we also have a task over there. Of course, as people in this space, as people who are also reach out to other people through various dialogues, through various forums, that is something we also need to reflect upon. Now, what is our role? How can we, what role can we play in such a situation? Yeah.
Well, honestly, you do the much that you can.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're just one human being, and for now, really looking at the digital space, it's just pushing the right spaces where you could exist in as a young person. Either you're trying to look for opportunities, or either you're trying to look for information. Kuna vitu kama opportunity desk. If you're trying to look for opportunities, opportunities for youth.
Yeah.
These are places where you can go and try find something that fits you, because there are a lot of opportunities out there, and I'm quite sure there's something somewhere that really fits you. And if now you're looking for information, there are sites like UNFPA, WHO, CSA websites, Love Matters websites. I mean, these are the spaces you could exist in. And also parts of the role, that I am playing right now in the organization is creating content that's for young people, that can relate with young people, and that impacts young people.
And that is a safe space.
Yeah. Although I have an issue with safe spaces, but yes, and that is a safe space.
Yeah.
And making sure that it is consistent and that it gets to reach to as many people as possible, as many young people as possible. And I guess that's how the world literally starts with me.
That's true. Maybe to say something, I want to talk as maybe a Turkana child mwenye hawezi access hiyo information yote pale digital. Mimi kitu nafikirianga ile kuu sana. Okay, primary caregivers have a really huge role to play.
Yes.
To play.
Who are the primary caregivers?
Unapata kama wewe kama mzazi, ni nini unaambia mtoto wako? Kwa sababu unajua mimi huamini kama mamangu ama babangu ameniambia ananipenda. Mimi sahi wewe li ukikuja uniambie otherwise ama uniambie the same thing, sitaichukulia na uzito sana. Unaona, juu tayari ni kitu naisikia huu. Unaona? Sasa wewe sijawahi sikia pale home, hakuna mtu mwenye anaongeleleanga kitu kama hiyo, and then someone, just a stranger comes and ako hapa ananiambia vitu kama hizo, I will definitely give in, si ndio? Alafu ukisha create your environment where inakaa ni conducive, like your mom telling you they love you, your dad telling you they love you, this open doors to more conversations. I'll feel more comfortable coming to tell my mom, enyewe kuna mtu alinishika matiti leo, si ndio? Kuna mtu alinifanyia hii kitu lakini sikupenda. But when you're so hostile, your child will try look for your information elsewhere. So mtu akilala na mimi, what will happen next? Probably ameenda amegoogle pale, amepata information ingine mbaya, go do this so that you don't, itakuwa hivi, unaona? And at the end of the day tunapata hata tumepoteza watoto wetu. So kuna pahali tunafaa kuanzia zile grassroots solutions before hata tufike huku juu kwa digital and all that. Pale chini ni nini tunafanya? Na vitu kama hizo.
That's a sound point.
That's very important.
She.
Me, I love I watch what I post. Kwa sababu I came to realize you never know what your content itafikia nani. We have under 18 who have access to social media, yes, and different digital platforms. So whatever I share out, either from information or whatever, you'll rarely find me post a banter ama a video yenye says itakam to wangu wa watch, because I don't know who is watching on the other end. And then come to think of it, whatever amesema a primary caregiver, just give us a short story. There was a time I went to a place, nikapata a lady analia, and then the lady we were with kwa soko akamuuliza what's up, akasema nimetoka kwa polisi, but polisi wamekataa kuchukua kesi yangu. Nikamuuliza kesi gani? Ako like, my daughter amekuwa defiled. Okay, I was like, because I'm in this space, I was like, I wanted to know the age of the daughter. The daughter is 8 years old. Listening. The boy is also 8 years old. And then the boy kind of has a disability, like mental, I don't know what kind it was because they never got to meet the boy. You see, the story is, and then kuongea na nikamwambia, you see, for this case, with the new rulings, kunile ruling nilisema kama watoto ni wote, it's not the boy who gets the nini, can maybe wote or they be punished together. It was changed, I believe, I'm not so sure, but like kitambo najua ni kwanga ni boy child. I think there was a change where both of them get, so nikamwelezea from that law perspective, most probably wote wataenda kwa correction center. It's not just the boy will go. Then after listening kidogo, ako like, mtoto wangu amekuwa malaya. It's an 8-year, because it was the second time mama at that time mamake alipata wanalala the same boy. So nikamuuliza, the first time you found out, how did you do it?
Or how did you handle it?
Tuko like, tuliwachapa na tukawakataza. Tuko like, already you're traumatizing this child. Yes, I know it's not right for children to have sex and they shouldn't, but the minute tunachapa mtoto because of having sex, rather than even trying to find out where they learned it from, you see, for me it was kidogo distorting, because I thought and believed there could have been better and permanent ways of handling it, because you see, it had gotten to a third point. Now, rather than even talking to these kids, already the mom anaita mtoto akiwa hapo, huyu mtoto wangu amekuwa malaya. Anataka ya mbele ya watu. Me personally, I felt like kuna tu injustice zenye tunafanya. As much as tunataka primary caregivers, for them, some of them are not even equipped. So for me naweza taka, we have comprehensive sexual education as a curriculum integrated in school.
Okay. Jen,
Yes.
what's your word for the Day of the African Child?
My word for the Day of the African Child, as we've talked about it throughout this conversation, there's a lot of challenges that the children face. I believe this is up to age 18. children, young people face. And for me, I think I mentioned this earlier, but I'll still say it again. For us to tackle these challenges that they go through, we need to come together, different sectors. We cannot only rely on the Ministry of Health to do this, or the Ministry of Education, or the CSOs also coming to bridge the gap. No, we need to come together as one, even include the parents, the religious leaders, the local leaders. We have influential people, everywhere in our society. So we need to have a discussion, come together and discuss this and find a solution that will work. Because we cannot be going back and forth on the same issue of year in, year out. We need to find a solution that will work. So for me, is to call for multi-sectoral collaboration, because when a young girl gets pregnant, it will not only affect the girl alone and the child. It affects the parents. It affects the siblings. Basically, it's a societal issue. Yes. And even the young boy who impregnated the girl, it will also affect him in one way or another. So this is something that should be tackled with a wider lens, and not limiting ourselves and wanting only a few people to be accountable for the whole issue, but come together and work together and find a solution.
Well, my people, what Jen is simply saying, mzazi, parent, it's your role. Polisi, askari, it's your role. Chief, it's your role. Pastor, na tuongelei Mackenzie. It's your role. Yeah? Lawmaker, legislature, it's also your role. Now all the young people, it's also your role. And most importantly, your responsibility. Because at the end of the day, no matter how unfortunate our circumstances are, there are those situations that are unavoidable. But for the ones you can avoid, please do so. And for you to be able to do that, make sure you are getting proper information that will help you make informed decisions that will impact your life and future positively.